Andrew McCART, IFL TV in association with MTK Global. Delighted to be joined all the way in Perth, Australia by TJ Doheny. TJ, we spoke a little bit before I pushed record there. I just want you to reiterate what you said. I mean, how are things your end of the world?
Yeah, it's all good here, just trying to keep myself busy, keep the mind occupied and with all this COVID lockdown stuff and that. And yeah, just trying to keep everything good. But we've been lucky enough here now that it hasn't been as the lockdowns haven't been as strenuous as they have been in other parts of the world, so we've had a bit more freedom, so been lucky that way, I suppose.
In terms of, like you said, the lockdown hasn't been that bad. I take it you're still able to go to the gym and keep
Oh,
fit.
no. So they've happened, but in terms of like being able to leave the house and go to parks and stuff like that hasn't been too bad in Perth. I think we're probably one of the best success rates around the world. We're down to 0 cases, 0 active cases now. The minute the past week, so we're in phase 2 of lifting them. So I'd say phase 3 is going to be another 3 weeks, and then that's when everything gets lifted. The gym capacities will open up more and stuff like that. But yeah, I've got my own little setup here in the garage anyway, so I've been able to keep myself in pretty respectable shape. And I tell you, I've been training more so just to keep the head right and keep the clouds away, rather than just keeping the body in shape, So yeah, it's been a great help.
I just want to go back to Dubai. I was out in Dubai in March with yourself. I just want to. Have you had time to reflect on that fight? I know it was like a shock loss. I think everybody was like, wow, what the heck happened there? I mean, you were pretty distraught after the fight and in the morning after and stuff like that. We did our interview and you were quite honest and open about your performance and stuff like that. But 3 months passed, 2 months has passed now. I mean, have you had time to reflect on that loss?
I've had probably a little bit too much time to reflect, to be honest. But yeah, no, the morning after, I was upset, I was fuming, I was angry at this, I was angry at that, I was blaming it on this, I was blaming it on that. I was like, but at the end of the day, after having the time to reflect and sitting back, and I'm one of these guys when I see lads coming out after a fight, I just take the loss on the chin, But I was sitting down at that interview and I was with everything that was going through my head, I was just blurting it out. And I was saying, could have been this, the referee, the judges. I was blaming it on doing my camp in Australia instead of going out with my number one coach and all this. But at the end of the day, the buck stops at yourself. It was the decisions I made in the lead up to that fight and my approach going into that fight is what cost me. Now I was fully fit. I was good, more good for 12 rounds, never mind 8 rounds. And I was 100% ready to go in and take on the fight. And just my mindset wasn't there. So I've nobody to blame but myself. I can't say I didn't. I hate saying it about myself, but I did overlook the kid a little bit. And even though now it's coming in with the excuses again, but I do think I should have got the decision right. But leaving that out, I shouldn't have left it in the hands of the judges or anything like that. I should have went in with a guy of that level coming in against a guy of my level. I think I should have just went in and do what I usually do and just go looking for the KO instead of starting in second gear. And I kind of just stayed in second gear and I was very pedestrian throughout the whole fight. But yeah, just after everything I was saying after that fight, I was thinking to myself, that's not me, I shouldn't have been blaming on anything. The buck stops at myself. Everything else was because of my actions that had played into the judges and the referees and all that. But at the end of the day, it was me that caused it all. I should have went in, blasted them out and moved on. But yeah, so I'm sitting in this position at the minute, but it shouldn't be too long more before we're back in position,
I mean, after that sort of fight in Dubai, I mean, you had a good chat with MTK and they seemed to have put a smile back on your face. They had this sort of path already mapped out for yourself, didn't they, when they were thing? But obviously with this lockdown and COVID and stuff like that, it's sort of put on hold. But you seemed a bit more perky, like the next day and stuff like that. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, well, look, I was devastated, like any fighter would be, especially with a shock loss. It's different when you're going into a 50-50 fight, you can kind of, oh, well, look, I was beaten by the better man. No disrespect to my opponent, but everybody was expecting me to win, and everybody's, it still hurts. But yeah, no, I sat down with MTK afterwards, and we had a good chat. And look, there's it's no secret they're one of the best management teams in the world. And they know how to come back from things like this and how to reposition me and everything. And also Mike Altamora, who's also affiliated with MTK Global, who was my manager originally. You know, so we've also got Mike on the side, who's a very shrewd manager, and they'll know how to maneuver me when this comes back. And it's all about, look, I had a shock loss. Now it's just about coming back, winning impressively. A silly little loss like this, even though it's horrible on my record, it can never be taken off BoxRec. It looks a bit shitty there, you know. But I just got to get a win, and just once I get the win, nothing's changed. The caliber of fighter I am. I've had 3 world title fights just over 12 months ago. Everybody knows what I can do. I just switched off in that fight and didn't put in the performance I can do. So it's just about getting a win and waiting for this COVID stuff to start opening right back up properly, and then we'll just get repositioned and see where we can go from there. But I have 100% faith in MTK and get me right back in the mix, you know.
What names did they offer you, MTK? Can you mention names, or is it just?
Well, it wasn't even more names. There was a few things being talked about, because I was sitting number 1 in the WBC and I slipped down to number 2 when Danny Roman lost to Akhmed Aliev. But I was in the top 2 in the WBC, so I was in the box seat in the WBC for a possible eliminator. We had got word from the IBF that we were going to be possibly fighting for an eliminator there as well, you know. So I was sitting in the box seat with 2 eliminators. Plus, there was always, because I was so highly rated and because of, you know, the fights I've had previous to that, I could have walked straight into a world title fight. Like, you know, I was worthy of that. But because of this loss, I've got to get the win back and prove that I'm still the same fighter I was. It's just that I just messed up back in March, and we've got to clean it up. But in terms of names, there wasn't really any names thrown around, but it was always going to be high-level fights, which I should have, not that I should have, because it's easy to say that now after a loss, but I wanted to fight. I'm the one that's pushing, like I'm pushing MDK. I want to be fighting every 3-4 months because I like activity. And they're like, look, the big fights aren't going to come that often like that, you know. And I was like, well, just give me activity, just give me a fight, you know. But I could have sat on the sidelines and waited for something big to come, title fight and eliminator, that kind of level of a fight. But I just want to be busy, and it's the same now. I'm already starting to get itchy. I just want to fight, even though I shouldn't sit back and wait for the right fight to materialize. I just can't do it because I'm a pretty hard worker and I'm in the gym all the time, and I don't want to be letting all my hard work go to waste, you know, that way.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you did mention that you wanted the Danny Roman rematch because, again, as a fan's perspective, it was probably one of the fight of the years a couple of years ago, or a year and a half ago, whenever. I can't quite remember. It was one of the fights of the year, and loads of people out in the US, when they saw me with the MTK stuff on, and they said, "Oh, TJ, that fight with Danny was a great fight." All the American media. I guess that's still a fight that you want, the rematch with Danny, even if it isn't a world title on the line, just to get that fight on.
Absolutely. As I was saying before March, I was saying like it was the only loss in my career that I would like to avenge, and it's a fight that if I did avenge, that could get me clout. Like, there's no point going back over the Beluda fight if you ask me. I just messed up, I overlooked him, and I put in a bad performance, and I paid the ultimate price. But with Roman, I lost in a split decision. It could have been the knockdowns that could have cost me the fight, like, you know. And like you said, it was a contender for fight of the year. Eddie Hearn, every time it pops up, he's talking about it, or he retweets it and saying it's one of the best fights he's seen live. So the fans will still want to see that fight. It's a very marketable fight because of the last performance. Me and Danny, we don't talk smack or anything, but I think the last fight does all the marketing for that fight. You know, it will sell itself. And people still talk about it because it popped up. It was 26th of April, so it's just a few weeks ago. Everybody was retweeting that, and everyone was like, "Oh, yeah, it'd be a great rematch," and da da da. But yeah, it's a fight I'd love to get. They're the kind of fights I'm after. But again, I can't really go mentioning those names after coming off that silly mistake I made in March. But it won't take me long. As soon as it's a bit unpredictable at the minute how long it's going to take to get out again. But as soon as I get back out again, get a win under my belt, and I'll be chasing those big names again. You know.
Talking about big names, I mean, Akhmadaliev, he seems to be something special. I mean, every single person in the boxing world is saying how special this kid is. I mean, 8-0, I think he is, and already a world champion. I mean, just give me your thoughts on Akhmadaliev and how dangerous he can be in the division.
Yeah, well, look, it's like this. He's a unified champ after 8 fights. I wouldn't even like to watch back the fights I was after 8 professional fights, to be honest. That was probably that. I was only developing, you know. So for him to do that, it's an amazing feat. And fair play to him. I have to give him respect. Still think that Danny shaded it. It was a round or two either way, but I think I was leaning on Danny's side. I think a lot of respectable people in the boxing world were too. But look, he's won the fight, and he is a phenomenal talent. He can bang, you know, and but I just think he's a little reckless. I think he can be hit easily, you know. And when I was crawling out for that fight before my last loss, the reason being was because, you know, I've got some serious power for a fighter at super bantamweight, and I just think because he's so easily hit, I don't think he'd be coming at me the way he was coming at Roman, you know. But again, I don't really want to be name dropping lads after that loss. I'm just after taking me down a peg, you know. But
is that loss humble? Is that humbled you? Is that humbled you a little bit, that loss?
Well, I like to think I've always been humble. Even when I was the world champion, I always just kept myself grounded. But I was starting to get a little impatient, so I started name dropping these guys because I wanted to get, after being a world champion and getting the taste of being a champ and then losing the belt. Then you're outside the mix and you're not being talked about as much. I was like, you know what? There's only one way I'm going to get myself back in this mix, and that's start opening him out, because it's not really my style. But when you want to get back in a position, you want to fast track it, you got to open your mouth and start generating interest, you know. So that's what I was doing. But I think the loss has not that I needed to be humble, but I think it's just like I'm sitting here now thinking I can't really turn around and start calling these guys out till I get a win under my belt, a good impressive win, and show that was just a speed bump back in March, and that I'm ready to go back in the mix.
You mentioned Eddie Hearn thought that your fight with Danny Roman he thinks one of the fights of the year. Going back to Eddie Hearn, he's I don't know if you saw, he's hoping and looking to put fights on in his backyard at the Matchroom HQ in Essex in the middle of July. If a promoter, MTK or somebody said to you, right, we're ready to go, TJ, there's a fight here for you in July, are you in camp? Is your mindset in camp right now? Be ready to go?
Yeah, since that last fight, like I said, I put out a 3 straight after. I said I know I'm after taking the loss, but I didn't want to sit around and wallowing under defeat. And as much as it hurt, I had to use that as motivation to prove that I'm not slipping or have that thing. It was just a complacency thing. I overlooked my opponent, but I was straight back in the gym. As I say, I've got the lockdown kicked in then, and I have my own gym here. But I've been training. I've been doing bits and pieces here, keeping the body strong. But I'm right now. You can see I'm not blown out. I'm not bloated or anything. I'm in good shape. I think I could easily go if I got 5-6 weeks notice. I could probably go, but ideally, you know, you'd want a full camp, because I'd like to get back out to America training under my head coach Hector Bermudez, you know. And I think that was probably one of the other things. Like, he wasn't in my ear for the camp, you know. So but if the opportunity came, and like they're saying that they need some big fights to put on, I'm willing to take on anybody. Like, you know, I just want to get straight back in the mix and see what happens. But again, I don't think it's going to be more UK versus the UK. I think with all this lockdown stuff and that, it's going to be very hard to get into countries to fight, you know.
What's your thoughts on Eddie doing it in his backyard anyway? I mean, if anyone can do it, it's Eddie, right? I
know. I was looking at it, and we all know Eddie, you know, he sells snow to the Eskimos. So he's I was looking at it, and I was thinking, like, geez, how's he going to do it? Because, you know, they're all talking about these fights behind closed doors, and fighters saying it's not going to affect them. But that, like, you feed off the energy in the arenas, you know. But I was even just thinking myself, will they start, like, doing crowd sound effects, or what are they going to, you know, like, have it on a couple of seconds delay and hit a button every time there's a shot landed so the crowd screams. I'm thinking, like, how are they going to do it? It's going to be so silent. It'd be weird for the fighters. It'd be like, just, I suppose, almost inspiring, you know, but you got to rev yourself up, because at the end of the day, like, every fight's important, because you can't afford a loss. You'll end up in my stupid position at the minute. So it's good. It's good what Eddie's doing, though. At least he's making moves, and he's starting to get the boxing world up and running again, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Finally, before I let you go, TJ, the heavyweight division seems to be, during this lockdown, stealing all the headlines. I mean, there's talk about Wilder stepping aside to make Joshua Fury in December in Saudi Arabia. Mike Tyson's looking like he wants to return. Evander Holyfield looks like he wants to return. I mean, the heavyweights seem to be at the top of the media, sort of like, I don't know how would you say it. They're making the headlines. What's your thoughts on two things? Joshua Fury and Mike Tyson returning?
Joshua Fury, I think it's great for boxing. You know, the big personalities. Obviously, Fury's the bigger personality because he's just so eccentric and he could come out with anything. But Joshua, just the things he's done in the heavyweight division as well, it'd be a fantastic matchup. It'd be not only great for UK boxing, but for world boxing, because it's generating that interest that we need to get the casual eyes on the sport and start dragging in more fans, so that boxing can get bigger and bigger and bigger. And ultimately, then the bigger the crowds, the bigger the fighters get paid. So you can't complain about it. And I think it's good that the heavyweight boxing are stealing all the headlines in one sense, because we went through such a stale patch there. There was a drought in heavyweight boxing when the Klitschko's and that. There was nobody interested in it because it was just so pedestrian. But now you got so many personalities, so many guys that there's not 50-50, but there's guys that can step up there and cause an upset loss to the big 3 and 4 heavyweights that's there. So it is fantastic, and we would like to see Joshua Fury soon, but I can't see it happening anytime this year anyway. As much as there's talk doing it and that, but no, I think it's just at the minute. I think it's just speculation. And Fury or Tyson.
Well, Tyson and Evander Holyfield, an exhibition fight. That's what they seem to be planning. I mean,
I know, yeah.
Would you want to see that third fight, even if they are 50?
Look, of course I'll watch it. You're gonna watch it, but it's like, I don't know. It's like when I spoke about when Nigel Benn was making the comeback. It's like it's not the fight that these boys can get through. The fight's only 8-10 rounds. It's the training camp I'd be worried about, because that's where you feel all the niggles and the slight injuries and the pain. And I'm 33 now, and I'm not going to lie. You do have to mind the body a lot more in training camp than when say you were 25 years of age. You get push every day, no niggles, straight back into the same thing every day. But you got to, train, recover. The recovery is a big thing. And lads of 50 odd years of age, it's the training camp I'd be worried about them getting through. So if the fight does happen, well and good. But it's all about the preparation. Can they get through the preparation without damaging themselves? Never mind getting damaged in the fight.
Definitely. Well, TJ, I gotta say thank you for taking time out of your day. I think it might be 7 o'clock at night in Perth. It's not even 20 past 7 in the morning here.
20 past 6 there, yeah. 20 past 6 here, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna go out for a wee cycle. That's sort of my new thing since I've been on this lockdown, is going on cycles.
Yeah, I've been following on Instagram. All right, what a beautiful city, by the way, I must say. Yeah,
Edinburgh's a beautiful city. Edinburgh's beautiful. I've starting to appreciate it a lot more since I've been going out on that bike. But TJ, as always, pleasure to speak to you, my man. Can't wait to see you back in the ring, and hopefully we can get that one big fight for you in the near future.
Oh, please God, Andy, and thanks very much for taking the time to talk.
Anytime, TJ. Stay safe, man. Speak soon.
All right, take care.